for the tunes this week, I really just want to talk about the workshop that I put together for Adam Levy and my students. And in that workshop, there were so many great takeaways. And gosh, just to see like a true professional at work was just quite the experience. Each of my students prepared a song to play, and then they received very poignant feedback from Adam. And he's got the experience that, really allows him to get right to the heart of things. And he's so personable. He offered his critiques and his advice and encouragement in just really helpful ways. So his attention to detail just really blew my mind. And I also really enjoyed how he used the fundamentals of music in how he was discussing these different tunes. I actually had a lot of questions prepared before our workshop that I wanted to ask him. But as he was analyzing and providing feedback for each student, he actually answered most all of them. And the only question I had at the end, I was asking him about his music education and what aspect of that was the most helpful for him. And what I took from his answer on that was he brought up the fact that in his musical training, he went to a music school, Dick Grove Music School, that I don't think exists anymore. But at any rate, what he appreciated from that approach was how he had one system that he learned all the way through. And I think that as students of music, as we all are, we have this tendency to, get into a topic and then want to, see the 50 different connections or many different ways to approach a concept. And as an educator, I eat that stuff up, but I've been doing this since I was a kid. So having that variety of approaches is really helpful. But I can also understand that as a student, it's really helpful to have one way and just carry that all the way through. Then you can go on and add the different levels and really get in deep on these different topics and concepts. So it was illuminating to me that that's one thing that he really appreciated about his music education, and it just makes me want to do that more. Really highlight that in my lessons with students of, I'm always telling them, we're going to do this one way first, and then you can explore the different options. This is not the only option, but it's a really great place to start. And example, I really view that in terms of the cage system. Learn the cage system. It's a really great way to understand the fretboard. There are other ways to understand the fretboard, and I think that's a really, important area that guitar players need to study. But the cage system really gives you a clean-cut, understanding of the entire fretboard and scales and chords and how they intermix. So that was one of my big takeaways from the workshop. And then the other was he talked about his experience writing a song a week for a year. And, at the end of that, you get, 50 songs, or 52 if you do it every single week, but let's say you take a vacation. So you get, about 50 songs from that. And that in itself is great. But as a teacher, the thing that really struck me was how by writing a song each week, you start to see your habits right away. And if you analyze those habits, you can see patterns that you may want to break. So, for example, you may start your phrases all on the first beat. There might be no anticipation, no upbeats on anything, no syncopation. So that might be something that you could address, as you're doing this for a year. And I really appreciated that. If you're writing songs and your strumming is always the same, you might say, hey, maybe my teacher, Susan Palmer, was right, and I should learn how to read music and start playing some different rhythms. Maybe I'm going to choose a rhythm from this esoteric classical piece or jazz piece from whenever and apply that to my new song and see what that starts to inspire.